honest, Isabel, I can't stop thinking about the time I spent with you.
Hi there, I'm Camila for the Fan Carpet, and here we are at the premiere of The Light Between Oceans at the Curzon Mayfair. What attracted you when working with, obviously it was a book, what attracted you as a producer and sort of alliancing yourself with this project?
Various things. I like the fact that it's about the grey area. It's about good people doing the wrong thing for the right reasons. And I find that a very interesting quandary, or very interesting. Tom, played by Michael, is a good man, and he's doing everything because he loves her. And I think it's a very beautiful, very romantic story that reminded me in some ways of films of the distant past, 50 years ago. Good old-fashioned romances with a really inherent complexity and richness to the characters, seeing them going on a journey that I think anybody who watches the film will be drawn to.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think you can see that when you're watching the film.
Coming on this project, I knew that Michael was attached, and since years before that, when I saw Hunger, Shame, Fish Tank, I thought that he was probably one of the most extraordinary actors I had seen out there. So to be given the chance to work with him and then getting to know him, and he's probably one of the most down-to-earth and easygoing people, and it's all about his work and kind of is there to support and kind of lift you all the time, and you kind of challenge each other, and it's a very, collaborative, interesting process where you experiment. And then with these characters, to play a character like Isabel, all of the characters in this film are good people, but it's hard to say if there's a protagonist or villain in this story, because both Tom and Isabel make a terrible choice, but it kind of leads up through parts of them trying to do good and trying to find their way, navigate themselves in life. So hopefully you will still, feel for them even if they make this bad mistake in the film.
I just felt, that they were two human beings, that they're ordinary people and living through extraordinary circumstances. Already coming off the back of the First World War, Isabel has lost her brothers to the war, and Tom has lost a lot of brothers in arms, and so they start to try and build a life together, and life throws certain surprises our way. And it's how, what decisions we make and how we navigate those obstacles and the consequences that occur from that. So for me, it was a very human story. It was a very real story. I felt that the fact that there's no, obvious villain or good guy or girl, I like that. It just seemed like real people, like I say, trying to navigate life as best they can.
To me it felt clear as a bell when I read the book. I could just see the movie in my head, which is why I chased it for so many years and tried to let them give me the rights to do it. The process is just, it was one of dedication to the story that moved me. I was on the subway train in New York City, just like my face was melting from the tears. And I thought it was so embarrassing to be crying in public like that, but I thought to myself that if anyone else was reading what I was reading, they would be crying too. And so I just made it my mission to just be true to that emotion,
When dealing with the role, how did you put it together when taking it up from the page, and obviously dealing with a good man who ends up in quite a tricky situation?
Well, just really spending a lot of time with the text, what's written in the story that we're trying to tell, and then obviously I had the reference to the book, which fleshes out ideas of the character and where he's coming from, what sort of psyche he is. But really just spending time with that, with the text, and spending a lot of time with Tom. It's kind of boring, the process of how one goes through it. It's just sort of identifying characteristics and ones that are present within myself and not, but spending time with the script, basically.
It's obviously an amazing cast to work with as a producer.
They were great, Michael and Alicia are two of the most exciting actors around. Rachel Weisz is brilliant. And then we had a wonderful cast from Australia and New Zealand to fill it out. So it was a quality from top to bottom. And to work with Derek Cianfrance, he's a director, he's an actor's director. He really pushes actors to places that they may never have been. He would do 20-minute takes, just keep the camera rolling, and in so doing break down artifice and get to a place of naturalism and truth. He is astonishing, and it was a great experience. Every film is different, and this one has, the process of seeing these actors go to these places was something that I have never seen before.
When working with obviously the stellar cast, such absolutely fantastic actors, what were the joys and challenges for you as a director to bring the story of love into the actors' performances?
The joy was working with two of the greatest actors of our time. I think, Michael and Alicia had this amazing kind of competition on set, right? Where Michael is like, to me, he's like the heavyweight champ, right? And Alicia is like a thoroughbred. So it's like Muhammad Ali versus Seabiscuit. And the thing is, Muhammad Ali is used to knocking someone out in the second round. Like 2 takes, he's done. But Seabiscuit, you can't tire her out, so she keeps going, right? And and Muhammad Ali's not going to go down. So they kept on like raising the bar for each other in such a beautiful way. And then the higher you go, you risk falling. And so sometimes they would fall and they would catch each other. And that was like the most beautiful thing to see, is like these two beautiful actors pushing each other and catching each other. So I was very lucky as a director.
Speaking of beauty and characters, obviously the location of this film was a character in itself. What were the joys and challenges of choosing those locations for this movie?
Well, one of the fun things was we shot the film in New Zealand for the most part, a week in Tasmania, and Derek likes a certain naturalism, and he likes the actors to live it. So Derek, Alicia, and Michael lived in caravans for 6 weeks out in the middle of nowhere, and we're experiencing that isolation that is so much the heart of being a lighthouse keeper, and living on an island, as these characters do. New Zealand is a gorgeous country, rich with the most beautiful landscape, and it was such fun to visit there, to work there, but also to travel at the weekends and see other parts of it. It's an amazing place, and Australia too. So scouting was fun, filming was fun, and it was a great adventure.
Oh yeah, the location to me, this movie takes place 100 years ago in Australia, right after World War I, but to me it could just as well have taken place 100 years in the future. It's, to me, a primal location. It's almost Eden. It's like Eden. And what I wanted to explore in that isolated place was human relationships and love and secrets and things that happen when people are alone. And the island is a metaphor for just a home. You know what I mean? It could be anyone's home. And the home I grew up in, the people we were inside the house weren't the same people we were when we left the house. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of wanted to make a cinematic allegory to that.
We're now done here at the premiere of The Light Between Oceans, but thank you so much for watching, and please stay tuned on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and we'll have much more for you next time. Bye!
One day, this will all feel like a dream. With love forever and ever.